It's Backstage Pass with Steve Ryan. And here's your host, Steve Ryan.
Yeah. Hey, Tony, how long were you with Rod Stewart's band?
I was with Rod for approximately 12 years.
Wow. Yeah.
We were a big family. And I
Yeah.
was one of the very last ones before Rod went into his I've got a backing band now and here's your black suit. You have to wear this suit that night or this pink suit. And I didn't want to be
Yeah.
part of that. Plus,
That was the big band stuff, yeah? The
yeah,
standards? Yeah.
yeah. Now the band are just backing bands and
Yeah.
they it then I mean we I was the one that got Rod to do Baby Jane. I had to present it to him 3 times before he
Yeah.
would try it. And then we got it the third time, we started playing it, and then he saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and now it's one of his biggest songs ever.
Yeah. Went to number 14 from the Body Wishes album, yeah?
Oh, yeah. And well, Baby Jane is in his set every night.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it. So
Yeah.
I'm proud to have pushed that in his repertoire. And of course, I was part of Every Beat in My Heart.
She gonna carry me over land and sea to my own folk. That's where I wanna be. Every beat of my heart tears me further apart. I'm lost and alone in the dark. I'm going home.
And uh, Infatuation with Jeff Beck,
Yeah.
and that was all our arrangements.
Oh no, not again. It hurts so good. I don't understand. Infatuation. 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 Heart beats in me like a big bass drum.
You know, Infatuation was from the Camouflage album, I think around it was late 80s, I think. But there was a song, and you were talking about Free earlier. Rod covered All Right Now on that album.
Yes, I did. Boy,
And
you love doing that. It's my
and
favorite.
is
Free
it really?
time, but
Right.
favorite band, you know.
Yeah, I interviewed Simon Kirk a while back.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and you and him are right up there with my favorite drummers. But
Oh,
but you
he's
guys,
wonderful.
yes, he is. But you guys, what you did All Right Now, and I love the arrangement. And when you come in with the drums, it's so powerful, and it kicks right into the groove.
There she stood in the street, smiling from her head to her feet. All right now, baby, it's all right now. All right now, baby, it's all right now. Who's that girl? Watch that girl.
Because I just love that version.
Yeah, me too. How do you do a copy of such a wonderful song?
Yeah.
and without looking like a band that's just desperate, because it's like, oh, let's redo Kashmir.
Yeah.
No thanks. You just don't
Yeah.
go there.
I saw a video a couple of days ago of you when you were with Rod Stewart's band. It's from 1989. You guys were touring, I think, in South America. I don't remember exactly where it was. And you go into this incredible drum solo right after "Do You Think I'm Sexy?" I don't know if you've seen that video, if you know the video I'm talking about, but brother, that solo was so good.
Thank you. Yeah, that was it could have been Rock in Rio, but I did a solo for 12 years every night with Rod. He it was an excuse for him to go change his trousers. Um, but for me, it was a big part of the show, and loved doing drum solos, and it did show.
Oh, people were
Where
going crazy. People were going crazy.
oh yeah, and when we did the Rio show, uh, we, the amount of people that we did, and I think it was over 500,000, and we did 2 nights.
Wow.
And anyway, both nights the drum solo I would hear, in Rock in Rio they're brought up to play and hit anything they
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
because they have so much rhythm in them. And I'm playing my drum solo, and all of a sudden the crowd's getting louder and louder, and I go, what's going on here? And and so I stopped and asked the lighting guy. I said, "Put the lights up," and there was this ocean of audience, and people just their hands up with maracas, sticks, whatever they could find, they were hitting, and they became louder than the drum solo. But I kept them involved in it, and it it was a magical moment. I must have had a bit of a tear in my eye for that one, and I used to walk around the drum kit and let the drum machine go for a little bit and walk out around the drums, around the front of the stage, and then hit my electronic drum kit, where I had bass and orchestra shots. And it was different then, people loved it.
Yeah.
So I got nothing but honest opinions every night, and that they loved it. So Rod kept it in for me, and is still doing it with the babies, because as we mentioned earlier, we are still going out on the road, and I'm still doing my drum solo in there.
Yeah. Did you play on Rod's Absolutely Live album?
Yes, yeah,
You know,
I did. I did every between 79 or 80 around there, because I sang on Foolish Behavior,
Mhm.
I did some of the backing vocals with Carmine, and then I joined him in '80, and then went all the way through to '91. And so in that period, I was the only drummer, and I did all the studio work and live.
Yeah. Well, just some irony. I don't know if irony is the right word, but a go figure. That's one of the first albums I ever bought,
Really?
and here we are talking now. So, yeah, one of the first albums I ever bought. It may have been the first, but certainly one of the first two or three I bought was Rod Stewart Absolutely Live, and I just wore that vinyl out.
Did
And
you?
and here you and I are talking, and it's almost surreal.
Oh, well, good. Thank you. I'm glad I'm gonna make you happy. It's a good album, you know. Of course you listen back later on and go, "Oh, I should have done this or that," you know. But
Yeah.
you know, I was lucky in Rod's band. I never ever. He's the only person I've ever worked with or for, but never once did anybody ever ask me to play something. They hired me to do what I do. So whatever you hear on Rod's records is all me doing what I do.
Yeah.
There's a lot, you know. I'm only emphasizing that because there's a lot of players that are told what to play, and that's just not what I do. And
Yeah.
like I said, I get hired for what I like to do. I mean, suggestions are wonderful, but and I can take them and make them still my own. But
Yeah.
never been enforced to tell what I do. Even Eddie Money, who's very. I was with Eddie for 6 months.
Hmm.
I joined his band, and even Eddie never told me what to play. And he can be brutal, or could be.
I met Eddie
Rest
once.
rest in peace. Yeah, he was a
Yeah.
lovely
You
man.
you played on his No Control album, right?
That's correct.
I love
Yes.
that album. I love that album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Went up to San Francisco and did that with him.
Yeah. You so on the Tonight I'm Yours album, with Rod, going back to Rod for just a second. You played on that track, right?
Yes.
I don't really wanna challenge you, marry you, or remember you. I just wanna make love to you for 24 hours. Come on. Tonight I'm yours. Do anything that you want me to. Don't hurt me. Tonight I'm yours. Do anything that you want me to. Don't hurt me. Tonight you're mine. Tonight you're mine. Do anything. Do anything. Tonight you're mine. Tonight you're mine. Tonight always. Tonight you're mine. Do anything that you. Do anything that you. Do anything that you want me to. You want me to. You want me to. You want me.
I heard a story. Tell me if this is true. I heard a story that laying down the tracks for that song became kind of a chore, and it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working. And then somebody just said, "Speed the bastard up." And that's kind of how it got this more of an upper tempo song for that, for Rod. Do you remember that, or is that just a folklore?
What happened right there is, unfortunately, I would hate it if someone did this to me, and I felt really awkward because Carmine was a co-producer on that record, and I got asked to come in and replace Carmine's parts, all the drumming and everything, and I didn't feel good because Carmine was still there, and I talked to him every day because I felt so bad. I'm not one of those. I have too much of a conscience, and I want to sleep at night and look myself in the mirror. And I spoke to Carmine. I said, "Are you sure you're okay with this?" He said, "Yeah, I'm. I'm co-producing, and you're doing a wonderful job. He said, yeah, but I'm redoing your work, And he said, it's
Yeah.
okay, just go for it. And luckily, we stayed friends, because I mean, that's a difficult position to be in. Anyway, to get back to Tonight I'm Yours, that originally was Rod's attempt at a drum machine.
Mm.
So if you notice how stiff it was sped up just a little bit when I came in, to give it a little bit more excitement. But it was a drum machine, and I ended up playing on top of it to give it some live groove. But
Yeah. Go
there
ahead.
is there is a drum machine element to it,
Yeah.
uh, which we never used again, obviously.
Yeah, I think some people had some issues with that song. It just I think some of the recordings didn't sound as full as some of the other and later albums. And I don't know any other way to put it than that.
I yeah, I'm bit of a stickler for having my drum sound big. Growing
Yeah.
up with growing up with Bonham and everybody, and
Yeah.
the way I play, the bigger the drum sound, the more holes you leave. She breathes, and if the smaller the drum kit, the faster you want everything to be sped up. That's why people have different. When you go play live, the whole band will have a different uh, view on what tempos they should be, and that's
Yeah.
because you get feedback from the hall
Mhm.
and what you're listening to, and so you're right. That very Tonight I'm Yours is not as chunky and as thick and
Yeah.
powerful, but that was my first record with him, and how far do I push my luck? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
I
know.
get it. Yeah.
So even though I knew Rod from the Faces, because I was in a band called Strider, and in '74 we used to warm up for the Faces.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I knew Woody and Ron
Yeah.
Wood and everybody.
Yeah.
Got some lovely stories with Woody.
Oh
He's my one of my favorite guys. And
yeah.
uh, so even though I knew everybody, and they welcomed me in, and that they couldn't believe. I mean, I was on cloud nine because when I walked in, I did a couple of tracks. They grabbed me and took me into the bar, and next door we had our own bar in the studio, which is incredible.
Those were the days.
Oh yeah, glad they glad, glad they're gone, but boy, if we had some fun. Um, we but they were so happy that I was doing the album. I was a little overwhelmed with the attraction that they gave me, and I made me feel really good. So um, obviously, I stayed in the band from there on, and Carmine uh, was unfortunately let go, and I felt bad about that, but he wasn't fitting in at that point
Yeah.
anyway. And Rod said, and I told Rod this story, and he said, "Listen, Tony, don't feel bad. It was going sideways anyway.
Mm.
So if it wasn't you, it would have been someone else. But you happen to be coming. You're the absolute only person we want in this band. So
Great as that.
yeah. So Rod and I were still dear friends, and the only reason why I left Rod was because I had a chance to produce, uh, which I went down to Jimmy Barnes in Australia, who's now, uh, well, still is, has been for years, the number one male singer in Australia.
Yeah.
He was first up to replace Bon Scott in AC/DC.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and on it, and good job he didn't, because he's too much of a. He needs to do what he does, and you can't persuade him to do anything different. So We became pretty close friends, and I did 7 albums with him, all number ones for 7 years in a row. They became number ones and stayed there. Excuse me, I
Love your ringtone.
got. Yeah. Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah.
Peter, I got to call you back, buddy. I'll call you. Yeah. All right. Bye. Peter Stroud,
That
Cheryl Crow. So,
wow. I feel like I'm peering in on this other world that that I love so much that I'm a step outside of. That's so cool. Send him my
I
best.
did.
And I
Sorry,
love
I shouldn't have even answered it, but the ringtone was so loud. There was
no,
no
it's
way.
that's all right. I'll just add it. I'll just clip it out. It's no big deal. And I love that the song that you have for is that your ringtone or is that his specific ringtone?
No, that's my ringtone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
No,
awesome.
best drum sound in the world, and what a riff.
The I had tell me if this is true. I read that the name of the band when the Babies took the name the Babies, originally it was meant as a joke.
Yes, it was.
Tell me that story.
We were obviously uh, very heavily intoxicated, and we couldn't find a name anywhere, and our manager was getting really upset, not being able to find a name, and he started getting really irate and s- went out the door and slammed the door, and he backed open the door and he said, "You know what? You guys are a bunch of babies." You know, and we all looked at each other, and go, "Uh huh, yeah, we probably are." I was what 19 now, I guess.
You were
Yeah,
babies.
yeah, especially in the music business. And even though, like I said, I grew up with John and Keith Moon and everybody, and I already was dunked in the deep end, and so that seemed to stick the next day. We were called the Babies. The record company loved it. We didn't love it because the connotations and how cheeky can you be with a serious rock and roll band? We Bad Company. I mean, Free and Backstreet Crawler. All those bands were Wally and myself favorite. That's what we wanted to do, and if you can hear it in the first three records. That's our tone. This way we wrote songs. We wanted John to be the Paul Kossoff. Wally was already. Wally was already Paul Kossoff. It's ingrained in him. That's what he does, and it was just it just stuck with us. And to get back to what I was going to say, I don't know if you know this story, but we made a video of our first few demos that we did, and we people didn't do that in those days, and we made a video of 3 songs, and they were all psychedelic, with the colors going, coming and going, and our manager, with great insight, sent it to 3 or 4 major records labels, and we didn't like most bands. You have to go play in front of the record company to see if they even like you and songs, the way you look, and in those days, and we didn't even have to play for anybody. We got 4 immediate responses from playing that VHS radio tape,
Wow.
and we got the $1 million deal from Chrysalis, and we got offered more money than that from Sony and everybody, but we figured Chrysalis were hungry because they had Pat Benatar then, they had all the bands that were up and coming. And
I
so
read that was the highest signing guarantee that they had ever done at that point.
yes, it was, and we're still paying for it.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I
you
hear
know,
that.
uh,
Yeah.
they've added on a few dollars that we didn't spend. Everything that they did, they go on holiday and put it on the baby's bill.
Well, they probably talked about you on holiday, so
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Tony, I've kept you way past what I promised you, man, I thank you so much for spending this time with me and taking time out of your day. I'm so excited about the babies being on tour, and I'm really excited about the Close Enemies project that you're working. And I hope we can get together maybe as Close Enemies, finishes up the record and it comes out, and we can talk about the new stuff and get people to go and check that out, because the group of you cannot be denied as some of the greatest players ever. And so I'm so excited to hear what you guys are throwing together. And man, thank you for spending some time with me.
Oh, you're very welcome. It was a wonderful interview because I love the questions, and it's a comfortable thing with you. So we can do this anytime you like.
Excellent. I so appreciate you.
I have
Yeah.
so much to tell you if you want to hear it. So you just call me anytime. We'll do this again. We haven't even gone into the Jeff Beck stories or any of
I know.
those.
I know. I've got all these notes in front of me, and it's like I've had him, way past what I promised, and I was starting to feel bad.
No, don't at all. I'm for someone like yourself, I'm very happy to do this. So anytime you like, we got lots more to talk about. And
Thank you.
I hope you're well and your family are well, and you're doing a great job yourself. So you should be patting yourself on the back as well.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much, my friend. Let's talk soon, and let's do this again. All right, brother.
It's been wonderful talking to you, buddy.
You too. See you soon.
Bye, Steve.
Okay. Have a great day.
You too.
For questions or comments, email Steve at steveryan.songoftheday@gmail.com.